I just spent $500 on Rubik's Cubes. Man, this was supposed to be my cheap hobby. But this isn't your typical unboxing from some popular cube store. I bought these cubes off a website you probably last remembered about 5 years ago, the Twisty Puzzles Forum. How did I spend $500 on the Twisty Puzzles Forum of all places? Well, once in a while, some old timer will pop into the marketplace section and sell off a ton of puzzles at once. For myself, these threads are often great opportunities to grab some puzzles that may be older and harder to find, or ones I've kind of been interested in, but not enough to go out and order them separately. I've done this before when Greg Fennig was selling a lot of his collection, and I showed that unboxing in the extra split 3x3x2 video. This time, instead of France, the cubes are coming from Australia, more specifically Arline, also known as Twisty Puzzling. You might recognize the name because if you've ever gotten stuck on solving some random cube, he's probably got a tutorial for it. I'm really excited for the puzzles in this box. They range from fairly interesting to actually shocking. Why would they mass produce it like this? And as always, if you want to keep seeing cool puzzles, like and subscribe. But for now, that's enough talking. Let's dive into the unboxing. And it looks like what I've actually purchased is some Australian tabloids. I mean, to be fair, it's probably best used as packaging rather than actually reading any of this. I'm seeing some tiles left over in the box. I wonder what puzzle these are from. We'll see. Alright, I'm gonna clean up all this garbage and then let's get to the puzzles. The first puzzle is this massive 4x6x8, but this isn't any 4x6x8. This one was built by Triboom. Now, if you've been around the community for quite a long time, you'll know that Triboom generally has a reputation of making super clean, super well-built cuboids that generally are actually pretty heavy just because of the amount of epoxy sculpt that goes into them. And I can confirm, this definitely feels like it has some weight to it. This is heavy. And already I'm seeing that the finish on these pieces is super nice. Just look at how well this is sanded. This is so smooth. Like right here, I'm running my finger over this glued together part and I can't feel anything. That's really important with these bigger cuboids like this because otherwise, if there were gaps here, the pieces could catch on the gaps and just become very catchy. Triboom was putting out these very impressive cuboids well before 3D printed extensions were even an option that people would consider. And when I saw that the 4x6x8 by Triboom was one of the puzzles for sale, I decided, you know what? I've been hearing a lot about these cuboids, might as well finally get one. And it's really cool that this is the 4x6x8, which means it's an ultimate shapeshifter. I only have one other ultimate shapeshifter so far. Where is it? Here it is. It's the 2x4x6 by Tom Z and Hunter Palchuk, and I've had a lot of fun with this. So I imagine the 4x6x8 is going to be significantly more difficult than the 2x4x6. I still can't get over just how clean everything looks. The stickers are perfect, the surface finish of the pieces is perfect, the turning is great, the insides are great. Man, Triboom's puzzles are pretty expensive, and you know what? This is why. So much effort was put into this. So, this was the 4x6x8 built by Triboom. I don't know when it was built, obviously I didn't buy this directly from him. But this is a really cool and well-built cuboid and it'll be great to solve. You wanna know something interesting? This isn't even the craziest cuboid in this unboxing. So stick around to see the other cuboid that I'm really excited to show you. But now, let's move on to something else. Up next, we have something called More Madness. This is a puzzle that was presumably designed by Oscar and then mass-produced by MF8, and it just occurred to me that this is not the puzzle I thought I was buying. It's completely my fault, but I thought I was buying a Meteor Madness. But I guess this is not a Meteor Madness, this is a More Madness. So I guess my notes for the Meteor Madness don't matter, and I honestly know nothing about this puzzle. How does it turn? It does this. I bet this is one of those jumbling only puzzles that probably can barely find moves when it's all scrambled. It's pretty big too. Let me see if I can compare it to anything. Here's a standard size square one, and here's the Meteor Madness. This thing is really chunky. Wow, it's already kind of hard to find moves. Jeez. Can this thing scramble? I'll definitely have to play around with this thing. Well, I guess I still don't have a Meteor Madness, but I now have the More Madness. And honestly, that sounds about right. I think this thing will probably drive me to madness based on the few turns I just made. Alright, let's move on to something else. I think I found where all those tiles came from. Probably have to glue these back on. This is the Cube Twist 4x4x4 AI cube. So what that means is it's just a 4x4 with some tiles glued onto it that bandage the corners into 2x2 chunks like this. I think Cube Twist is defunct as a company, so you can't really buy these new anymore. And it's another case of I've kind of always been hearing about Cube Twist stuff, but just never had one of their puzzles. So when I saw that one was available and the fact that it was the AI cube, I was like, you know what? Might as well. I like the AI cube because I feel like of the bandaged puzzles, this is probably a good introduction to them because it's relatively easy to understand the way it bandages. So I will probably be scrambling and solving this pretty regularly. I think it should be quite fun. These tiles are really interesting. Look at the texture that they have. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Are they all the same? Yeah, I guess just some colors make it easier to see the weird texture. How does it turn? Turns okay. I'm assuming this is some old garbage 4x4 mechanism, so I'm not expecting this to corner cut or anything, but I mean, this is an AI cube. It's not like I was gonna speed solve it. Have any of you solved an AI cube before? Let me know in the comments if it's easy, difficult, trivial, impossible, somewhere in between. I don't know. Alright, let's move on to something else. And I gotta make sure not to lose these tiles. And here we have something from Very Puzzle, and this one is also another one that's lost a couple of pieces on the journey from Australia, so let's see. I have 3 corners. I wonder if I have to disassemble this to put these back in, or if they kind of just go in. I don't think they're broken, right? Okay. This one goes here. And this one goes here. So despite this looking like the classic Tutminx with the very straight cuts, this is actually not the original Tutminx. This is the classical Tutminx V 2.0, which honestly, I was looking for a Tutminx because I realized that they once again went out of production, and I actually wanted the new Tutminx because I was told that one turns the best, but this one apparently turns second best, so it's fine. I mean, yeah, turning's okay. I don't really expect it to corner cut that well. This thing's actually pretty big. Let me see. Here's a standard size square one next to it. I had always thought that the Tutminxes were not that big, but maybe for the V2 they made them a little bigger. Let's see how easy it is to tell if you're about to make an illegal move, because remember, with these hexagonal faces, you're only supposed to make double turns, like that. So there's that. So this is an illegal move. Oh. Okay, it's not very hard to make an illegal move. So that's just something I'll have to be careful for. These stickers are interesting. So some of the pentagonal faces have these weird carbon fiber stickers. Or actually, is it all of them? At least it's consistent. I do like some of the carbon fiber stickers. I think this blue looks cool. The actual normal stickers are a bit on the thin side. Like, I don't know if it comes across the camera very well, but these look very thin. But I do like the fact that they're actually inset, so that's definitely going to make it harder to peel the stickers. This will be a great addition to my Giga Tutminx, or Reignforest that I already have. Let me see if I can find that so I can show it to you. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Well, the Giga Tutminx. Here it is. So, it's really nice to have both the regular Tutminx and the Giga Tutminx together. I will definitely be solving this. I don't actually know how easy or hard it is. I think it's probably not going to be super bad. Yeah, excited to finally have a Tupminx in my collection. Let's move on to something else. This is a Lan Andromeda Cube, originally designed by David Pitcher, and then it was available as a 3D printed puzzle for a while, and now I guess it's mass produced. As opposed to some of the other puzzles that I've showed, this one's actually surprisingly small. Like, look, it's basically just only slightly bigger than the standard size square one. I don't know if I'll be solving this. I'm kind of intimidated by it. The reason why I was intrigued by it is it kind of just looks like a curvy copter on steroids. It looks absolutely insane. I don't know that much about its axis system, geometry, orbits, any of that. I don't even know how to solve a curvy copter, so I feel like I should probably get that down pat before I try solving this. This thing seems pretty stiff. Ugh. There we go. Maybe I need to lube it. Or maybe it's good that it's stiff so that you don't make accidental movements. I do notice that the center pattern seems to be turned by a little bit. Like, see, this doesn't go perfectly up. It like kind of tilts like that. This clover section on the middle. I wonder how this would have looked if it was centered. But yeah, the Andromeda Cube. This one just looks cool. I don't know if I'll be solving it. It's another of those puzzles that I've kind of always softly wanted to get, but never put in the effort of actually going out and buying one. Cool that Pitcher got his puzzle mass produced. Let's move on to whatever's next. This is another puzzle that has suffered on its trip from Australia. Let's see how bad the damage is. Okay, there's got to be more pieces than this for this. This is not a complete puzzle. Okay, unfortunately, I guess this puzzle's just incomplete. I looked through all of the tabloids thinking maybe it got stuck in one of them, but no. There are pieces that are just missing on this. What a shame. So this is the AJ Split Megaminx, and the deal with this cube is I actually didn't know about it until I saw this Twisty Puzzles forum listing, and I was like, wait, why would they mass produce it like this? So it's supposed to be like a Cube for You 3x3x5 style cuboid, right? But it's not usable in the solved state. You have to turn it to make any of the cuts line up. Like, am I crazy? Shouldn't they have just done it with the slices being accessible in the solved state? Like, what's the reasoning behind this? I would turn it, but I mean, it's missing pieces, so I'm gonna try and not have any more pieces fall out than I need to, but yep, this is the AJ Split Megaminx. What a mess. Alright, up next we have the Deseth. It's a confusing name, but I believe it just stands for Deeper Cut Edge Turning Hexahedron, something like that. This puzzle was designed by Greg, and if there's one thing you should know about him, he loves calling cubes hexahedrons. Like, this is a hexahedron. Cool. Like, come on, man, just call it a cube. Anyway, the Deseth is basically kind of like a helicopter cube, but deeper, as the name implies. So instead of turning like on the outer edge, it turns like this, I think. I was forewarned that this does not turn very well, and I can confirm it does not turn very well. So this is another of those puzzles where I saw Greg show his original 3D printed version years ago. I always thought it was kind of an interesting concept. I don't know if I'll be scrambling and solving this, but I think some people might have tried fixing it to make it actually turn okay. I don't know if it's worth that much effort. We'll see. Come on, let's get it back into a solved state. You can do it, come on. Man, I made one turn. Here we have Greg's Deseth. Onwards to the next puzzle. Okay, this is actually a clip from the future. I feel like a crazy person. I double-checked everything again for this Split Megaminx, and I couldn't find any extra pieces. But then I decided to take some pieces out so that more don't fall out and get lost. And then, are you seeing what I'm seeing? There's pieces in there. What? How does that happen? Okay. Now, the question is, are all of the missing pieces in here, or are there still going to be more missing pieces? Because it would be honestly super cool if I have everything. Otherwise, I was planning to eventually probably 3D print a replacement piece, but that'd probably be relatively complicated to replicate in CAD, so obviously it would be really nice if we could actually have all the parts instead of having to design them from scratch. So let's try and shake these pieces out and see what's in here. I might need to get pliers for this. That was a whole corner, look at this. This isn't even a small piece, and this entire thing was in there. Okay, so I think this is the one that would go in here. How did this get in there? I really am flabbergasted. It doesn't look broken or anything. All right, there's definitely at least one more piece in there, and then I think, unless there's two pieces in there, I'm still missing one. So let's try and figure out how we can get the rest of them out. Okay. I hear something rattling. We might have all the pieces. Come on, it's almost, oh. Here we are, the last piece. Okay, here we are. You have no idea how excited I am. I had a really tense few hours because I realized there were pieces inside the puzzle just a few minutes before I had to leave and go do other stuff, and it's been a few hours since then. So for a few hours I was like, oh, I don't even know if all the pieces are in there, but wow, this is complete. There is something else jingling in there. I think that's, I don't know, some piece of the core or something. I saw it like moving back and forth. Maybe I'll actually properly take this apart at one point. But okay, the AJ split Megaminx is complete. Let's see if we can actually get a split turn to line up. What is this solved state? I hate this. Okay, here we are. We are finally able to actually make the split turn that is this puzzle's only defining feature. Moment of truth. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It worked exactly as you'd expect it. While I was getting the puzzle into this state, I was trying to think of a justification for this ridiculous solved state in which you have to do so many movements to get to this split position. I guess you could argue that it adds more depth to the puzzle because you have to first pair all of these and then find the solved state, but still, like, at least they should have given us a choice of having it stickered. I have half a mind to re-sticker this where you can actually make the 3x3x5 style turns in the solved state. Should I do that? Let me know in the comments. But okay, I'm actually going to clean up the unboxing now, and you're going to jump back in time to the actual unboxing footage. And here we have the other cuboid in this haul. This one has quite a long name. Let me make sure I actually get it right. This is the 4x5x6 Floppy iCube Extreme. I think I said that right. So let's see. Yeah, it's 4 this way, 5 this way, and 6 this way. And the name just means that this is a center offset cuboid. So you'll actually notice if I make this turn, this layer is no longer centered. You can see it like overhangs right here. And then if I make this turn, it also overhangs, this time actually by more. And then the last turn, this one, this has some crazy overhangs. Look at this. I know that the original of these was built by a now retired modder called GR Cubed. I don't know if he made this copy, but this copy is made pretty decently. It's not as finished as the 4x6x8 by Triboom from earlier, but it's perfectly serviceable, I would say. You can see here that it's not as filled in as the other one, but it's still smooth enough to where I think it shouldn't be an issue. This looks ridiculous. Look at this. You make a single double turn, and then the only turn you can make on this axis is just this one. It's basically a 2x2 now. What the heck? Yay. I've heard varying reports of difficulty on this thing. At first I thought it was going to be super difficult because Super Antonio Vivaldi listed its siblings as the number 4 hardest puzzles ever in some ranking. And then someone else said that they think this is easier than a normal 4x5x6. And then I realized that the number 3 most difficult puzzle on Super Antonio Vivaldi's ranking is the Dinos Cube. So I'm not sure I trust that ranking anymore. So honestly, no idea how hard this is going to be. I will probably give it a shot. I think it should be quite a lot of fun. I don't typically like bandaged puzzles, but I'm thinking this one's cool and I'll probably have some fun with it. So maybe this will get me to start actually liking bandaged puzzles a little more. Is this actually fully offset? Like, can you make a 90-degree turn on any axis? Yeah. You can do that one. You can do that one. Do this one. It just occurred to me, yeah, I think this puzzle is going to have crazy shapeshifting when it's all scrambled. I don't want to scramble it yet because it's probably going to take me forever to solve. So that is the 4x5x6 floppy iCube Extreme. So that's all for today's unboxing. I think this was a pretty good haul. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me solve any of them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you another time. Bye.